There is a side of entrepreneurship that nobody talks about. People see entrepreneurship online and think it's freedom all the time. Not the exciting lunch, not the social media highlights or the reels, not the I made six figures overnight stories. No, there's a side of entrepreneurship people don't talk about, and they don't talk about it enough. I'm talking about the rebuilding phase or the building phase. The moment when you realize that your systems, your finances, your routines, your mindset, maybe even the entire life needs to change. And absolutely, that's the season I'm right in now, right? So today, I want to talk about what rebuilding or building my business actually looks like in real life. Because I know I'm not the only one trying to figure things out. I know I'm not the only one in the reality of entrepreneurship. So if you're here for this conversation, know that this is real conversation and that I am rebuilding in public. Nothing is hidden. Ask the questions that you want. That's what we're here for. So let's talk about the reality of entrepreneurship because it is important to talk about that. People see entrepreneurship online and think it's freedom all the time. And yes, entrepreneurship can absolutely create freedom for you. It's one of the reasons why I engage in it. But before freedom comes, you need to have a structure. Freedom is great. Freedom is awesome. And you should aim for freedom. But remember, if you don't have structure, you will not have freedom. And the reason for that is because without structure comes chaos. And before clarity comes rebuilding, right? So you need to think about all of those things. You need structure to have freedom. You need structure to be able to build and rebuild because you need the clarity to rebuild, right? So for a long time, I was, doing everything, helping everyone, trying to grow multiple business, trying to create content, trying to support my family, trying to survive emotionally, trying to build a future for me and the future that I always ambition without looking at someone else and without trying to copy someone else, just myself, being myself. It may not be what everybody wants, but it is me. It's who I love and what I want to do, right? So think of it this way. Somewhere in the middle of everything that I'm saying, everything and all of that, I realized I had to build a business that depended entirely on me, right? Every task, every email, every client, every problem, every idea, everything. And eventually it becomes exhausting, right? For consultants, that is the truth. If you are a solopreneur, you understand what I'm saying. So, not because you don't love entrepreneurship, but because you are surviving within entrepreneurship. And let me tell you, I've been an entrepreneur for over 6 years now. I feel like entrepreneurship is in my DNA. I have always been an entrepreneur, but because I've been in survival mode, like as you know, a few months ago, I got really sick and I had to like literally stop everything, slow everything down. And I had to assess what I was doing. Is this sustainable? Am I going to be able to do this forever? And the reality is that I can't. I can now live in survival mode and be able to grow and sustain my business forever on a solo person, just me. And I rely heavily on AI, heavily on AI. When I say heavily, I can tell you that I have an entire team of AI agents. And that is to do research, analysis, data consolidation, data collection, a lot of things. Forgive me, husband calling. So we need to think of all of those things. And when I see myself in this regard, when I open my laptop late at night, when I look at what's going on in the world, the things that are happening, the things that are changing, I always think of, I need to change things. I need to change the way I operate. My calendar is overloaded. My paperwork is piling up. There's a lot of things that are moving in. There's a lot of things that are not happening and that I know they need to happen. That's overwhelming. That is overwhelming. So if you're there, I understand. Trust me. Trust me, I understand. So that is one of the things that's forcing me to rebuild in public. Because I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'm building my business. Yes, I have all the answers. I have the team. I have everything. Great, amazing. That's awesome for you. But there is this other group of people that are burning out because they're not able to make changes. They're not able to afford a team. They're not able to invest in the tools and resources that they need to take care of things. So that's when burnout comes in. I think burnout changes the way you see everything, right? I see a lot of business owners that they tell me, I'm so exhausted. Even if I sleep 24 hours, I still feel tired. There comes a point that you do things in autopilot where, you do the things just because you have to do them, right? There comes a point where your body starts telling you what your mind has been ignoring. That already happened to me. And when I say that is because of what I just said. I got really sick last year and it was, mentally I was fine. Emotionally I was fine. But physically my body was tired. I was going from one infection, one cold, one this, one that to another. And that's the hardest part because you do everything that you're told to do, right? Rest, I rested. Sleep, I slept. Eat, I ate. But then your body has collected all of that pain for so long that now you need to pretty much shut down, just like you shut down your computer and reset. And that is when I think that you have the opportunity to rebuild yourself, rebuild your business, rebuild a period. Okay? So when you're an entrepreneur, you don't always feel like you are allowed to stop. And I'm giving you the permission to stop. Because people depend on you. Clients depend on you. Your family depends on you. Your bills don't stop. Your responsibilities don't stop. But eventually, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to. I had to be honest with myself. The version of entrepreneurship I was building was not sustainable, not long term, because I was the only one doing everything. I wasn't building systems. I was building things under pressure, right? I was building things dependent on me. And there's still a lot of things that depend on me, but now I have started to identify what are the tools and resources that I can use that can alleviate some of that bottlenecks, some of those things that actually are taking my time. Do I need to sit down for hours on end and do research on a business when I can just use AI to do that? Not anymore, right? So do I need to do a market research on businesses on certain industry when I can utilize systems that already exist, automations and programs that I have built, GPTs that I have built that help me do all of this? Not anymore. I built the GPTs so that I didn't have to spend so much time taking care of things. If I can create a GPT that builds me a business plan for a client, that the client can then review, can identify what they want to change and keep, gold. I didn't have to spend 10 hours on that. Done, right? If I can build a GPT where my client can have a conversation with that GPT, or can have a chat or a text back and forth with that GPT, asking questions about what are the key things that they need to take care of during the first 90 days before they launch their business, go. I don't need to do that. I can just send them the link to the GPT and they can start talking to the GPT. They need me, they have me on text. They can book a call. But that GPT can already help them start brainstorming, not making final, because you still need the individual, you still need the brain. But you can start brainstorming, you can start looking into things, you can start identifying those systems that you are going to need. And that's why I started asking myself, what kind of business do I actually want? What kind of life do I actually want? Because success means nothing if you're emotionally collapsing behind the scenes. I've been there, done that, don't recommend it, don't want to do it, don't want to repeat it. The other thing is, do I want to build someone else's dream, or do I want to build my dream? That's the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, right? If you're in corporate America, you will know what I'm saying, right? If you're in corporate America, you probably know that you're building someone else's dream. You're investing your youth, time, effort, everything into someone else's dream, not necessarily your dream, right? So that's important that we make that clear. Nobody in corporate is building for themselves. They're building for someone else. So you're building inside someone else's dream. Let me repeat that. You are building inside someone else's dream if you're in corporate, right? And even though you're going to think that nobody was, is going to come to save you, let me tell you, I'm saving you right now telling you this. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you are someone that is thinking about it, you can be excellent at a lot of things when you're in your corporate job. You can be amazing at something in your corporate job. That was never, ever, ever meant for you. And you can be amazing at it. You can be excellent at it, right? That is not success. Just because you are the highest note on sales, the highest customer service rep, whoever, that was something that you were not meant to be. You are sacrificing who you were meant to be. So now that I'm building, that I'm rebuilding, right? I'm rebuilding J Consulting, rebuilding Jenny, rebuilding what that entails, rebuilding what that means, right? I'm concentrating on areas that, believe it or not, might not be important to others, but I'm identifying simplification as the key. I'm concentrating on systems. I'm concentrating on automations. I'm concentrating on structure, because I'm focusing on building something sustainable, not just profitable. Profit's great. We all need a profit. But I need something sustainable that with or without me can function. And I started reorganizing, right? My workflows, my business structure, my content, my offers, my schedule, my priorities. That's how you would rebuild. You assess, you see what's working, what's not working. Let me see what can, change. When you're concentrating on systems, you're looking at, let's see what's working. Let's see what are the workflows. How do I do things? How am I structured as a business? How do my clients come in? What does my offer looks like, right? What does my content looks like? And let me tell you, being honest here with you, my content did not, and it still doesn't match the things that I do all the way. Because I'm sharing with you the vulnerability of the real entrepreneurship, right? I'm a real human, I'm a real person. This is the real life of an entrepreneur. I'm not showing you the heights. I'm not showing you the highlights that everybody wants to share. I made millions, I made billions, right? I don't feel that I'm there. And even if I was, why would I tell you that I made millions when I know that you're struggling to develop a workflow, to develop structure for your business, to develop automations, to find systems that work for you, to find, a way to develop your content, your structure, your client offering, your priorities, right? Why would I do that? I'd much rather tell you, hey, stop, look at what you're doing, what's working, what's not working, what would you like to improve, and let's rebuild in public. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm rebuilding in public. I'm sharing with you the nuances of building your business, but also rebuilding your business with the right structure, with the right offers, with the right content, with the right information, the right systems, the right automations, the things that work for you. Because what worked for you doesn't necessarily work for me. I'm learning that being busy is not the same as being effective, right? And when I say that, I'm being kind to myself because I will spend 24, 36 hours working on something that I was close to and that I felt really attached to. And honestly, I could have done that in less time with AI. But I was so invested in doing it myself, into doing the whole thing, that I was like, it's okay. I'm learning. This is a learning process. And to be honest with you, there is good thing to like learn from something, and another one is to like just not be effective at what you're doing because you're stuck in your head and you rather just waste your time, money, because your time is money. The time that I'm spending right now with you will never come back, right? So it's important that you understand that AI has become a huge part of my rebuilding process. Not because I want to remove the human side of my business, because my business is human, but because I want to stop drowning in manual work. Things that I do multiple times and AI can do them, go ahead, do them. You want to like reviewing my calendar every night? Just give me a highlight what's happening tomorrow. I don't need to go in every single calendar that I have and see what's going on. I can just have a summary sent to me and I can review it, see if I need to change anything. At that point, I'm not going into multiple platforms, multiple accounts, multiple places. It's all consolidated in one place. And let me tell you, that is so beautiful. That is amazing, right? So I want more time. We talk about freedom. I want freedom. I want more time. These automations help me get that time back. I want more clarity. Some of the large language models available today have the ability to read things in seconds. I don't. I still have not developed that ability. If they can read the entire thing in seconds and give me a summary of what that is, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to take it. Obviously, I will not have peace of mind if I don't review it, but you can set certain parameters that understand you on artificial intelligence, where it learns your habits and the way you do things to the point where it will know what you're anticipating. Once he reads it, I will ask it questions related to what I want to know about this business, about what is in that actual report or summary that it created. I'm not just going to take it at face value. Of course, I'm going to challenge it. Of course, I'm going to review it. So that is the difference between let AI do everything and work with AI. Because a lot of people just leave it to AI. No, You need to work with AI to be more proactive, more efficient, to have more freedom, more peace of mind. But that doesn't mean that they're gonna do it all. No, it doesn't. So I want to create a business that supports my life, not consumes it. And AI is helping me do that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are realizing the same right now. A lot of people are talking about AI. A lot of people are talking about automation. A lot of people are talking about, having quiet, productive moments thanks to AI taking care of other things. And it's beautiful. The emotional side of rebuilding, and I'll tell you, this is going to be um, a little close topic. So this is something nobody talks about, or people don't want to talk about. People don't like talking about it, and I feel we don't talk about it enough, because rebuilding requires honesty. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to admit what's not working. You need to accept it. That's emotionally necessary for you to accept that you need to rebuild, that you need to change things, that certain things are not working the way you expected, even if you were the one that created it. You also need to accept that it's draining you, okay? That is hurting you, that you're overwhelmed. You need to look at what is no longer aligning with your life or the life that you want. Because when you do that, and that's the uncomfortable part, right? When you do that, then you learn something extremely important. Rebuilding doesn't mean you fail. Don't see it as a failure. So you learn that rebuilding sometimes, right? Sometimes rebuilding is proof that you finally understand yourself better. You finally understand that growth requires rebuilding. And you come to understand that even healing requires rebuilding. Let's be honest. Sometimes even success requires rebuilding. Even success requires rebuilding. It doesn't come to you that easily, right? Even that sometimes success requires rebuilding. And I'm learning how to stop feeling ashamed. Stop feeling ashamed of starting over. Because honestly, starting over with wisdom is powerful. It's powerful because you start from knowledge. You learn something, now you are empowered with that wisdom to make things better. So starting over with wisdom is absolutely powerful. And I'm not rebuilding my business because I fail. I'm not rebuilding because I fail. Let's say that again. I am not rebuilding my business because I fail. I'm rebuilding my business because I finally understand the kind of life and business I truly want. If you're rebuilding too, financially, emotionally, mentally, in business like me or in life like me, I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that you're not alone. This series is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about documenting honestly. It's about sharing your wins, your setbacks, your lessons, your rebuilding, because real entrepreneurship is messy. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's super messy, but it's also powerful. It's very powerful. And maybe rebuilding is the beginning of something better for you personally, better for your family, and better for the things that you want in your future. If this is resonating with you, subscribe and join me on this journey. I'm rebuilding in public and I'm rebuilding with you. We are rebuilding together, mi gente. Pa'lante. Let's keep going. Now, if you enjoy this episode, you have to watch episode 2 because I am in the process of posting all of these episodes. So if you enjoy this episode right now, go to episode 2 because episode 2 has great things for you. I'm talking rebuilding financially. This was more of that. Now let's move to the financial part because we are doing this together and we're doing it in public. I'll see you on the next one.